All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of a project I have put off long enough. As you can see by the title, this is Diary of a MAD Snowman. Charles Faulkner gave me the idea for the title, and I'm going to use it because a lot of myself and what I've been through in life is going to be interjected into this audio diary. So for those of you that are coming in, welcome. You can follow along by making your comments to the subject I'm going to talk about this evening. And let me say this. I do not pay attention, know of, or to a point care about politics. I never have and I never will. What I do care about, however, is the livelihood of men. Men that go through absolute hell. Because a question was posed. Who's coming to save us? And for the most part, Again, I say for the most part, it's not happening. Because we are looked upon as the people that not only tend to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, but to a point have to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. What were we told growing up? And my dad taught me this. I put it in the form of a very, very popular um, commercial ad. Never let them see you sweat. Never let them see you sweat. That is what we were taught growing up. Because if they do, if they do see us sweat, what happens? A finger is pointed at us. Ridicule is made of us. Laughter follows. Teasing follows. Name calling. Labeling. Any and everything. We are told, and more than often have to, put on our big boy pants and continue to keep going. One of my dearest friends is Charles Faulkner. He's known for a long time. William McKay, hello from Houston, Texas. Hello, William. Do me a favor, folks. Like, share, subscribe to the channel and support the stream. And if you all can do so, please support via Cash App. The Cash App you need is at the bottom of your screen. Or if you're listening along, $ Tallman Dr. K50. And I'll put it here in the chat here in a moment. What's up, Cortez Smith? Good to have you. This is the program on my channel where I will really be myself, because most of you associate me with sports. And I kind of dubbed myself in an email the sportscaster in the manosphere, which I believe I am. But I needed to put this diary in motion. And Telescope, you are absolutely right. Telescope 3, where are you dialed in from? Cortez, same question to you. Nobody's job to save us. We're men. We make our own way, or we don't, and we fail. Don't hold your breath waiting for somebody to care about what happens to a grown black man. That's ever so true. In my case, I got lucky to not only find someone that cared, but took a chance. And you all know who I'm referring to, my beautiful wife, Jody. I will talk about her in a little bit. But the question has to be posed. Telescope is joining from Long Beach. Good to have you. If my geography is right, that is Southern California, is it not? I'm 51. I was fogged out on chemo for a while, and I'm a little fuzzed. So just want a reminder. William McKay is joining us from Houston. But I'll invoke this statement when it comes to politics. You know how we help the political atmosphere? By withholding our vote. Cortez coming to us from Birmingham, Alabama, home to the UAB Blazers And I know it's Protective Stadium now, but I believe Protective Stadium was once upon a time Legion Field. We have to continually, as men and as black men, make our own way. Because if we don't, we wind up becoming statistics faster than we blink. And that's the truth. I've had to discover that many, 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 many times over. It's a discovery even to this day, and I'm 51, that I don't like making. But it's necessary and it's true. And on a daily basis, it needs to happen. Everybody else gets a hand, but we don't. Can't complain about it. I'll explain, Nub Glory, I'll explain what make our own way means. And I will use myself as an example, kind sir. I've been a sportscaster for almost 30 years. Have I ever worked for ESPN? No. Have I ever worked for a major station? No. Have I applied to different stations, to different networks? Hell yeah, I have. Even to when I got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, I was applying to different radio stations and television stations across the country. Didn't get one phone call. You know what my wife made me realize? Especially lately, there are two reasons. One, listen to my voice, and two, my age. And the way that I speak, I credit that to my parents, because they taught me how to speak in public. I just decided to turn it into a career. I listened to Jim Durham call Bulls games for many years, and I am coming to a point to answer Nub Glory's question. And Nub, where are you tuned in from, Nub Glory? Let me shout you out properly also. And you're right, Telescope. We find other black men who have their shit together, and we plan and we build. It's not up to outsiders. It's up to us. I heard a phrase a long time ago: if it is to be, it is up to me. Let me go back to what I was talking about a few moments ago. I have not worked for one major radio station. I have not worked for one major television station or cable network. When I got into broadcasting in 1995, I had a simple philosophy. If Jim Durham could do it, I can do it. And I already knew I had two strikes against me: being black and being well spoken. It's something my wife and I talk about all the time and continue to this day. So after the 95-96 season wrapped up, a friend of mine and I, who is no longer here with us, God bless you, Alvin Washington, we came up with an idea to build our own network. And it's an idea and a pursuit, and it's something that I still do to this day. It's just taken me some 28 years to realize who I need to trust. I had someone tell me once upon a time, you don't need to trust your broadcast partner to deliver a quality broadcast. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie, because if you don't trust the person that you're around, if you don't trust the person to help you steer the fans, and again, I'm using my profession and what I do as an example, to steer you through a play-by-play broadcast, who's to say they won't steal your idea? who's to say that they won't steal your idea and sell it to others as their own and have more success than you could ever have? I've been there. I've been there with that one. So, Telescope, I hope that's a good example of your statement of finding other men who have their shit together and we plan and we build. As I said, I'm 51. I'll be 52 in July, and I'm still planning and building. But now I got the right people around me. I have you guys supporting me from afar. And to say thank you would be a horrible understatement. But Telescope, I think that is what you meant. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Charles Faulkner said a statement to me, and he said it many times on his channel, and I will echo that statement. He has told me this since the time he and I met when I was back in LaPorte, Indiana. And he has said it to me on damn near an almost daily basis. And I've especially heard him since he started doing his live streaming. It is as follows, quote, "The best way to get on your feet is to get off of your ass." He could not have been more true with that statement. Competent Black American men working together to build sounds great, but that's virtually impossible to do in this day and time without good policies from elected officials. That's bullshit. I'm going to straight up tell you, Nub Glory, I love you dearly. I'm going to straight up tell you that's bullshit. Because my counter to that, and I'd love to have a discussion about this, my counter to that is, what if the policies in place are not designed to fit you in the first place? That's my counter to that. And I can honestly say a lot of that is a personal feeling. And I'm not ashamed to admit it anymore. But what if the policies in place are not designed to fit you? I'll use myself as an example again. I kick pancreatic cancer in the ass. Point fire, love and respect from Toronto, Ontario, home to the Sky Dome, the Blue Jays, the Toronto Raptors, and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Toronto Argonauts. Point fire, I hope I covered it all. Man, I'll pose my question again. What if the policies in place are not designed to help you? Let me say that again, Black man. What if the policies in place are not designed to help you? Pitmaster C, what's going on? Where are you coming in? Where are you coming in from? Let me know and I'll shout you out properly. Nub Glory, same to you. I want to shout y'all out properly as you come in. I'm batting 1,000. Thank you. Thank you. And I love those Argonaut uniforms. I want to get one as a souvenir. And Mike Hogan, who is the voice of the Argos, is a dear friend of mine. Virginia is where Pitmaster C is from. Good deal. What part of Virginia? I'll use myself as an example again. I battled and beat a cancer I had no business beating. And that was stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. Duke University Cancer Center told my wife, Jody, to come home to Indiana and get her affairs in order. They were ready to put me in a box. Northern Virginia. Cool. Be you a Cavalier or be you a Hokie? Anyone who watches college athletics knows the nicknames I'm talking about. Duke University Cancer Center told my wife to be prepared to put me in a box. My wife wasn't having it. Ah, you're a Hokie. Cool. Very cool. You ever do a game at Lane Stadium yet? But my wife wasn't having it. We came back here to Indiana, shed a lot of tears. She got working because I physically can't right now. Because at the time I had a cancerous tumor on the left side of my abdomen. And it would flare up. It would flare up horribly. It would flare up bad. But as soon as we got insurance, my oncologist, who I met in the latter part of 2021 when I got diagnosed, made a phone call to Attila Nakib at IU Med Center in Indianapolis. I watch from my TV, not in the crowds. Fair enough. Fair enough. For me, I watch from a press box. So I get it, Pitmaster. I get it. But Attila Nakib and my family are the reasons I'm still here. It's getting together with the right people. Victor Log, my homie from Chicago, how are you? Submission is not an option. It's not. It's not. Due to outstanding recovery, due to outstanding support. Better believe it. And that's what I'm telling the men here tonight. Fuck the policies. Get a good a personal support system. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson is correct. Yeah, they have an agenda. They have an agenda. We have one too. We just keep going. And I want to play a little devil's advocate here with Nub's comment. Did not have a specific agenda for themselves. Very true. They just voted how Black American women told them to. True again. But now they have an agenda. And I'm glad we do. The next step in the process is getting them to listen. And my point is, until that happens, have your own support system. And to counter the policies, to continue to counter the policies and use myself as an example. As I said, I'm not even supposed to be here. I wasn't even supposed to make it to 50. State of Indiana declared me disabled. And because the state of Indiana declared me disabled, you would think that would come with a little financial help. It hasn't. I've had every excuse in the book thrown at me. You know what, Point Fire? We're going to make our way north of the border when I'm well enough to really travel. We're going to make our way north of the border so I can see the Sky Dome and see BMO Field. I have talked to so many men that are just plain tired. Victor, you've known me almost 25 years. How many times have you heard me say on and off the air, sometimes you just get tired? And a lot of Black men I know right now are tired. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and in many ways, financially. We're just plain tired, which is part of the agenda. I look forward to giving you a hug, brother. Forget the handshake. I look forward to giving you a hug as we take in an Argos game or a Blue Jays or a Raptors or a Maple Leafs or whatever. just have to take the 18-point blackmail political agenda to Trump and Trump Republican gubernatorial senator. Yes and no. Yes, you have to take it to the locals. The locals make it happen. That I will say. The locals make it happen before the nationals decide to get a clue. But who's coming to save us? Not a damn person. We have to save ourselves as individuals and as a collective. I use the story of how I met my buddy Victor 24 years ago off of a chance. You know what I've heard many times over? And I know for a fact Victor can verify this because it was said to our faces that black men can't work together. That is a big lie. That's a big old lie. I don't have to share the stories that Victor and I have gone through in our friendship and in our professional relationship of dispelling that, of disparaging and blowing up that rumor, because all it is a rumor. But again, to get back to the first original point that I made here tonight, we are just told to pick up our big boy pants, strap it in, and keep going. We're not allowed to break. We're not allowed to cry. We're not allowed to hit a wall. Because a lot of negative connotation, it's bullshit connotation. It's bullshit connotation. Follows it. Victor, you remember this story. Dating a young lady with the last name of Dials in 2015 who kept edging me and edging me and edging me. Verbally and emotionally until one day I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm glad I was alone when I went completely berserk. But it got to the point where several people were told lies against me, and it cost me a contract. Matter of fact, cost me 2 of them. And except for football season 2018, I never went back to Northwest Indiana. I couldn't. Even with all the lies being told and the evidence that people had saying I was innocent, no one rode to the rescue. None of the big wigs, let me correct my statement, none of the big wigs at the school where I was calling games rode to the rescue and said, this is a good guy. And it was right in the middle of the IHSAA state tournament. I may as well share that story. A fellow made a phone call to the IHSAA saying I was inappropriately touching 2 students at the school where I was announcing games. And Pitmaster, you're right. You have to put money into that pot to lobby with your 18-point agenda. Having an agenda is great. Having the backing is better. A lesson I know we all have learned the hard way. You got to have the backing to make all this happen. Be sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share the stream to everyone. And if you can, please send a donation via Cash App, because the 2 reasons I'm doing this: one, to get some feelings off my chest, and they're going to be jumbled with every episode, and I understand that, but the main point will be outlined. The second one, being disabled, I need to help my family. which leads to a few great anecdotes about my beautiful wife. I'll start with the present. Jody busts her ass on a daily basis. She goes to work, she puts in hours beyond hours beyond hours, and when she gets home, she's so exhausted that some nights she just goes to bed and crashes. And I can't say that I blame her. This is one of those nights where she got in so late, and I knew I'd be up doing this, that I told myself, when I get ready to go in the morning and do my radio show, make sure that I do everything I can to take care of her, to take care of my children, and to take care of a couple of bills around the house. I'm going to touch this part in a separate episode later on. But as a man, you know the worst thing that can be taken away from you? Your nerve and your will to help your family. And being disabled, there are, Victor, I know you can vouch. There are some days where I will call some of my friends and just in just needing to talk, and they'll let me talk. They'll let me go off. They'll let me. That's part of what this is doing for me. On a small scale, on a very small scale, men do get help. It's an even smaller scale when it comes to black men. On only 3 occasions did I get social services. Why? Because I'm a black man struggling. And that's where they want to keep us. That's why the comment earlier that Telescope made of making our own way needs to continue to happen. We come together and we make our own way. If your wife knows that you're innocent of accusations, you're a wealthy man. Damn right. Jody knew when I told Jody that story of what happened to me in 2016, Jody knew from jump I was innocent. She looked me in the eye and said, "Nah, I don't see you that way." I'm going to encourage the men to keep going, but I'm also going to encourage them, reach out to some people close to you when you need to have a venting session. This is one of my methods of my venting sessions. Just doing this. I'm going to put it in the form of an audio diary series, an audio series. And yes, I'm going to turn this into an audio book. When I see the exhaustion on my wife's face when she comes in at night from a job that she cannot stand, and I sit here in my office so stressed out because of it, thinking of how the hell can I help my family? Thinking of ways I can. And my health has prevented me, at least up until this point. Up until this point, my health has prevented me. It takes a lot of wind out of your sails. If anybody can identify even a little bit with what I'm talking about, put a one in the chat if you would, please. Having the ability taken away from you to help your family who has helped you and been there for you through thick and thin, through everything. You know how much that hurts? You know how many times I have cried to Jody and she would just hold me and go, okay, talk to me. We were talking this morning about how stressed out we are about money. And my brain immediately flipped to, okay, what can I do to help? I have to do something. Sometimes it's so hard for men to continue to stay positive in the face of adversity. Believe me, I know quite a few, myself included. Myself included. Some days are just a royal pain in the ass. Period. Some days are just a royal pain in the ass. It got to a point today when I finished recording an interview and I knew I had a couple more things to do. I just shut down. I retreated into my bedroom. I turned off the phone and I just shut down because I knew I was going to break. Eventually, I turned the phone back on just to have some noise, to have a little music in my ears. But I retreated. Let me ask this. How many of you, and I want the God's honest truth, how many of you have felt so weighed down, so low, that you damn near just plain quit? You ever felt that way? And I'll pose the question again. How many of you? How many of you men? How many of you black men? Let's really get down and dirty and deep with it. Have just felt so low, so down, so in the dumps that you nearly, I mean, it got so bad that you nearly said, fuck it, and took yourself out. If you identify, give me a signal in the chat, will you? Because there are days when you feel that is just not fair. That's not fair. That you have all of this, that you have the weight of the world. Let me put it in a general statement, that you have the weight of the world upon you. And you see no way of getting that weight off of you. None. Man, I can't tell you how many days I feel like I'm there. That's one reason I started doing this diary. And I'm going to keep going with it. Got no choice now. And I nearly canceled this because I was physically tired. I was overwhelmed. I saw the exhaustion on my wife's face. Let me go back to that. I saw the exhaustion on my wife's face, and it's like I just want to go take care of her. But she said, I'm gonna go to bed. I gave her a kiss. She went on to bed, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna come in here and execute what I have planned. William McKay, I turned off my phone today. Also, went to my bedroom and closed the door. Same as you. All of what you are saying, I am there. Y'all realize how tough men have it? Why do you think sports is such an escape for us? And to the women that support, thank you. I have 4 of them in my family that support me. I mean, one of them is a football fan. My wife's a Colts fan. 3 of them don't know what the hell football is, but yet they support me. In fact, my daughter Cheyenne told me she's a Bengals fan just because she lives in Cincinnati. Carmen lives in Indianapolis. Dakota, my son, my baby boy, doesn't have a clue, but it's that small circle of support that keeps me going. It really is. And I want to use this audio diary as my form of therapy. What is your form? Let me ask you guys this. What are some of your forms of therapy? When you get so overwhelmed and you have so much of the world on your shoulder that you see no way out. What are some of your forms of therapy? My daughter pointed to my microphone when she was over last time before she went on her trip and said, use it. Charles Faulkner gave me the idea. He gave me the title. And you're right. Only Satan puts evil thoughts in your head. Boy, they were circling around for a couple of hours today. I'm glad they're not now, and I'm glad I'm getting all this out. There's so much more that has to come out, and I realize that there's so much more that has to come out. And I make no qualms about the 2 reasons I'm doing it. 1, I want to get it off my chest, and 2, I want to use it to help my family. Some days it just gets so bad that, like I did today, I just went in my room and turned everything off and just laid in bed until sleep found me. And the other thing I had to deal with, and I want to ask this specifically of the men. I know women who have gone through what I'm about to talk about. Hell, my wife went through it. But how many of you men in one way, shape, form, or fashion lost a child? My very first child, Donna, was born May 6, 2013. I lost her twice. Once to a forced adoption, and the second time I lost her to death. And there are days I feel it is my fault. I fought as hard as I could for that little girl to get her back in my life. I fought as hard as I could. The circumstances were painful. I was living at home in Chicago. I had family members, and I won't say who, at least not here. I had family members who believed that Donna wasn't my daughter. Look at her, they said. She doesn't look like you. There's no way that can be your child. I was even told you're not supposed to have a child. It's a royal pain in the ass feeling this way. It just feels so wrong that society wants to put black men, or to put men in general, in a box and shove them away and not have them come out ever again. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I'll open the chat up for a little bit. But I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear from you guys. Thank you, William. Thank you for the compliment. I want to hear your stories for a little bit. If you haven't done so, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, both channels. And if you can, please support the stream via Cash App at $Tallman Dr. K50. And that ID is a combination of nicknames for my wife and me. She's Dr. K, I'm the tall man. But share some of your stories with me about how tough it is in today's society to be a man in its natural state, to just be yourself. to not have anyone, it seems like, to turn to. What else were we told growing up as men? Don't cry. I was chasing adrenaline rushes through risky behavior. Wounded Warriors Canada, and God enabled my second chance. I got my family back. I love hearing that. Applause to you, Point Fire. Until 2018, my only family was my daughter. I was on the outs with my blood family because they didn't believe Donna was mine. I'll say it again. My natural family did not believe Donna was mine. And at times they still don't, which really unnerves me. No, that was a long time ago. I know that. Still hurts. It still hurts to this day. And there are people that tell me that's a long time ago. You should let it go. When it involves your child, you can't let that go. I lost Donna twice. I lost Donna twice. And if anybody's wondering, that's Donna. She was 2 when she passed away. She would have been 11. She was every bit of a daddy's girl. Every bit of daddy. I'm thankful to have the family that I have now. I really am. And I know every single one of them would have adored Donna and she them in a heartbeat. I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever. I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever. As I mentioned, my Cash App ID fits our nicknames, Tall Man and Dr. K. I'm the tall man. If you want to know who Dr. K is, there you go. That's my Dr. K. That's my forever. That's my everything. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Call it a night. Episode 2 will be tomorrow. in lieu of me covering the women's Big Ten championship. I hope that Donna's your guardian angel. If you still hear her laugh, she's still with you. Every day, man. I hear her laugh even when I'm watching cartoons here in my office. And I can tell you her favorite cartoon character that I used to do an impression of was Foghorn Leghorn. One more time, like, share, and subscribe, because this will become a daily audio diary now. And if you can, even if I'm not on air, please, please help me and my family via Cash App. The tag you need is $ Tallman Dr. K50. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of this. Same bat time, same bat channel. I know that sounds crazy for me to say, but it's a memory of mine. It's a memory. And gentlemen, I hope you start and continue to make good memories. Let this be the start of us making good memories with and for each other. As I mentioned one more time, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the Cash App if you can. And I will see y'all tomorrow night. Good night, everyone.